Welcome to this training module on configuring and managing a Microsoft Entra tenant. We will explore the foundational settings required to secure and organize your directory effectively. Let's get started. Let's begin by defining what we are managing. A tenant is essentially your organization's container within the Microsoft Cloud. It holds your directory objects, users, groups, and devices, and acts as a security boundary. It's crucial to understand that policies and permissions configured in one tenant do not automatically apply to another, ensuring isolation. We distinguish between workforce tenants, used for your employees and internal apps, and external tenants, optimized for customer-facing applications. Upon creation, the creator becomes the global administrator, holding the highest level of privilege to manage all aspects of this environment. This diagram visualizes the tenant as the root container. At the top, we have the Microsoft Entra tenant itself. It acts as the parent container for all directory objects, shown here branching into users, groups, and devices. The tenant isn't just storage. It actively enforces policies. These policies sit between your objects and your assets, controlling access to applications and resources. This visual structure reinforces the concept of the tenant as both a directory and a security boundary. Once your tenant is live, your first stop is the properties blade. Here, you configure the name, which is what your users see on the sign-in screen. Crucially, you must maintain accurate technical contact information to ensuring the right people receive service notifications from Microsoft. For compliance, you should populate the privacy info section, including a URL to your privacy statement, so internal and external users understand how their data is handled. Finally, review security defaults. For many organizations, keeping this enabled provides an immediate baseline of security by enforcing multi-factor authentication. This flow shows the navigation path to configure core properties. We start at the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, move to Identity Overview, and then select the Properties blade. From this central hub, you branch out to configure 4 critical components: the display name, technical contact details, privacy statement URLs, and security defaults. The diagram highlights that enabling security defaults leads directly to the enforcement of MFA across the tenant. Next, we focus on user settings, which control what non-admins can do. A critical decision is users can register applications. By default, this is yes, but many organizations change it to no to prevent shadow IT. You should also review restrict non-admin users from creating tenants. If left unchecked, users might create separate tenants that your IT team cannot see or manage. Additionally, you can toggle restrict access to Microsoft Entra Administration Portal to prevent standard users from reading directory configurations, though this is not a true security measure against API access. This state diagram illustrates the decision process for user settings. Starting at the user settings node, we evaluate 3 key permissions: application registration, tenant creation, and portal access. For app registration, the flow moves to risk assessment. If security requirements are high, we follow the path to restrict. Similarly, enabling restrictions on portal access leads to the state of limit visibility, reducing what standard users can see in the interface. Managing external collaboration is vital. Under external collaboration settings, you define what guest users can see. Restricting guest access prevents them from enumerating other users or groups. You also control who can invite guests. Restricting this to admins or specific users ensures better governance. For deeper control, use cross-tenant access settings. This allows you to trust MFA claims from partner organizations, meaning if a partner already performed MFA in their home tenant, they won't be prompted again in yours. This sequence diagram shows the admin's workflow for securing external access. First, the admin interacts with external settings to limit guest permissions. Next, the admin configures invitation rights to ensure only authorized personnel can invite outsiders. Finally, the admin configures cross-tenant settings to trust inbound MFA claims. The system confirms when these settings are applied, establishing a secure collaboration boundary. Moving to group settings, you must decide if users can create their own groups. While self-service aids productivity, it can lead to sprawl. To manage this, you can implement a naming policy to enforce prefixes like department or block words like CEO. Crucially, configure an expiration policy for Microsoft 365 groups. This automatically removes groups that haven't been active for a specific number of days, keeping your directory clean. Note that advanced group features often require premium P1 or P2 licenses. This diagram represents group settings as a class with properties like enable self-service, naming policy, and expiration days. These settings feed into the governance class, which performs actions like reviewing lifecycle and blocking words. The relationship shows that enforcing group settings directly results in a clean directory, visualizing the operational benefit of these configurations. Finally, let's configure device settings. You define who can join devices to Microsoft Entra. A critical security control here is the toggle require multi-factor authentication to register or join devices. We highly recommend setting this to yes. You can also manage local administrators on joined devices and enable the cloud version of Laps to automatically rotate local admin passwords. Furthermore, you can restrict users from accessing BitLocker keys, ensuring only IT can recover drive encryption keys. This flowchart maps the device join security process. It starts with a device join request. The first decision point checks if MFA is required. The yes path leads to an MFA prompt highlighted as the secure path. Once registered, the flow checks if lapse is enabled. If yes, the system automatically rotates the local admin password, securing the endpoint. This visually reinforces the two key security layers: MFA for identity proofing and lapse for ongoing device security. To wrap up, remember these best practices. Adhere to the principle of least privilege. Microsoft recommends having fewer than 5 global administrators. Regularly audit the settings we discussed today, as your security posture should evolve. Be mindful of licensing. Features like dynamic groups and naming policies require premium licenses. Finally, whether through security defaults or conditional access, ensure MFA is enforced to protect your tenant properties, users, and devices. Thank you for watching. This mind map summarizes our training. The central node is tenant management. Branching out are the 4 pillars we covered: properties, where we manage contact info and privacy; users, focusing on restricting app registration and external collaboration; groups, highlighting naming policies and expiration; and devices, emphasizing the need for MFA requirements and lapse integration. This provides a quick visual reference for the entire module.